Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing animations. Now, compared to Hyprland pre-0.55 version 0.55, animations, you had only one way to configure them, okay? And that was using something known as Bezier curves. Well, Bezier curves, they are explained right over here, okay? A cubic Bezier curve is a simple spline defined by 4 points. So you would use these 4 points in order to define how exactly the curve was going to look. Now, if you wanted to design your own Bezier, they say the recommended website is going to be cssportal.com. If instead you wanted to choose from a bunch of Beziers that have already been selected for you, you just go over to easings.net. Now here, you can take a look at all of the different curves that you have, okay? Most of these you have inside of CSS by default, okay? And some of these you do not, in which case you're going to have to go to one of them, copy this line, this particular line, and then put that inside of your CSS wherever you're using it. Now, as for using this particular Bezier curve inside of Hyprland itself, you're going to want to copy these points, okay? The x1, what's this? Let's see, x0, y0, and x1, y1. You're going to want to copy these points and put them inside of this place. Okay, let's go to config hyper modules, modules, and then we'll go to animations. Or do we not have that separated? Okay, it's inside decorations. So here it is, right? So you wanted to basically make a new curve. We'll just call this something like, okay, let's see, this is ease in back. This is what it looks like. Or we can actually pick a better curve. Ease in out cubic is pretty good. Is that here? Okay, that is here. Okay, it's ease in out quart. Okay, this one's also pretty good. Let's just copy and paste this one. We have ease in out quart. Put that down there. And then just get rid of all this extra space. Good to do. Okay, that's done. Now, as for the points, just take the points, you copy them, and then you put them inside of this points table here. So you put that down, and then 0.24, and then this is going to be 1. Turn this to 0.24, and then that's 1, and then as soon as you do that, that's done. Now, whenever you're using ease out quint, you just want to replace that with, let's say, replace ease out quint with something like ease, okay, not every single instance. Let's just call it quint. I'm gonna get rid of that with ease. Okay, no, we really have to get rid of the entire thing, so let's just do that. %s ease in out quint. Okay, now come on. It's actually ease out quint, so you want to replace this one, ease out quint, with ease in out quart. You do that, and then here you go back and then change this to ease out quint, back to what it was before. Quint, do that. And now, if you just check out the opening animations, that's what it looks like. And honestly, this looks freaking 10 times better than what we had before. So we're actually going to be keeping that. As for Windows out, that's linear for whatever reason. Did we change anything? It seems like that became ease in out quart. Okay. Let's try it for Windows. Okay, for Windows in. So ease in out quart. Whoops. Quart. And then you copy the same word. Paste it down here. And okay, it's a, let's see here. This, okay, no, hold on. Something's going on here. Okay, what does it say? No such spring ease in out quart. So where's that? Ease in out quart. What's going on? Well, yes, it's because these two spring curves. So you want to change these to Beziers. So Bezier, no such Bezier easy, of course. This one, just change this one to ease in out quart as well. Put that down. Okay, now that's what it looks like. I mean, I guess it works for a certain kind of thing. So yeah, we'll just keep it like this for now. If you want to change it, just make sure to pick a particular curve from here and then copy the points and paste them in right over here. Awesome. So that is for a Bezier curve. Okay, simply put, it's the kind of curves that you would come across inside of CSS. Okay, done. Then we have another type of curve, which is a spring curve. Now this one is commonly found on Apple systems and defined by properties known as mass, stiffness, and damping, or dampening, depending on what framework you're using. In our case, it's going to be Hyprland, and so it's dampening in our case. Now here, they say it's generally recommended to keep mass at 1 and then adjust stiffness and dampening alone. Okay, so there's a website which allows you to mess around with different aspects or different properties, seeing what affects the animation exactly how. So for this one, mass, okay? We'll just go through this really quickly so you can get an idea of how exactly to use springs in animations, okay? Now, mass refers to the heft of the thing we're moving, okay? Heavier object will move more slowly, but it also has more inertia. So these two springs, they're identical aside from their mass. So if you move this one doesn't exactly, have that bouncy, springy effect. But this one does, simply because this, thingy is of greater mass. Yeah, so they say that your intuition should come in handy here. So just imagine how heavier items would respond when being hung on a string, right? So compare this lighter item being put on this spring compared to this heavy kettlebell being used on the same string. And if you're able to visualize it in your head, it's basically the exact same as how it's going to show up inside of the curve over here. Next thing is tension. So tension, in this case, refers to how tightly wound the spring is. So the tighter the spring, the more energy is released, leading to a snappy, bouncy animation. So check this out. String isn't really tightly wound at all, which means that the animation's very slow and then sluggish, and then there's no bounce at the end. This one is a very tightened spring, and so because you pull on it, okay, that immediately shifts back to its original position and then causes it to bounce a bit, even more than its initial position. In some libraries, this parameter is called stiffness. Now, in R specifically, we have stiffness. So stiffness in this case is going to be tension. Mass is the same. And then you have dampening, which is friction in this case, okay? Now, they say here that friction is maybe the hardest to visualize because it's not a characteristic of the spring itself. Rather, it's a characteristic of the environment that the spring exists within, okay? Environment or the universe. Environment would actually be a better way to describe this instead of calling it a different universe entirely, okay? So here, let's imagine that we were transported to an alien parallel universe, okay? One with a completely different environment without any friction. So here, this is normal. This is the alien universe without any friction. And friction is actually what causes this little kettlebell over here to stop. Because you have air molecules, okay? And because the kettlebell collides with them, because of friction, caused due to, movement of the kettlebell through space and its collision with air molecules and stuff, basically this thing is going to be stopped. It's not going to go on forever. And because you do not have any friction in this alien parallel universe, most likely because there is no air, which means there are no air molecules to stop this particular thing. You might even consider this to be in a vacuum, okay? You have this thing moving around just forever. This alternative universe, springs will oscillate forever because friction is the force that dampens the motion. So as you sprinkle more friction into the universe, the spring becomes less and less bouncy, and this is called damping. That's it. Now here, they have a small note for gravity. None of these scenarios take gravity into account. While that would be more realistic, it doesn't factor into how springs are actually used when it comes to animations, right? So we have not taken gravity into account. Perfect. Now, instead of me explaining a bit more of the physics of how physics and math of how spring curves work, it's better if I just show you. So let's create a new curve, and then we'll use that. Awesome. So this one is most likely going to be easily understood if I go with the windows in and windows out. So that's what we will be using. So spring, change this to spring, and spring, change easy in out quart. You want to change that to easy. Change this to easy as well. And let's see. Yep, those three. Now, this is what it looks like. Spring curve also actually looks pretty freaking decent. Now, mass, ideally you want to keep that at 1, but let me just show you what happens if you increase it to something like 10, okay? Yeah, very heavy, and then you have that bouncy effect simply because of the inertia of this particular window. You can kind of think of the window as being that kind of kettlebell that we saw earlier, and it becomes, much easier to understand. So let's move this to something like 0.1. Okay, so number less than or equal to 5.5 actually, so let's make that. So what's this say? Mass expects a number. Okay, well, let's try 0.8. Does that work? Okay, 0.8 works. That's what it looks like. Pretty snappy because it's actually very light. If you wanted to increase the mass a bit more, then you can, of course, go ahead and do that. Maybe something like 1.2 for the mass. There's going to be, yeah, it just feels a bit heavier when it comes to the movement of the window. Awesome, so you have mass set to 1. Now, let's try something like 171 for the stiffness. Yep, that's a very, very stiff window. Very stiff spring that the window is operating off of, okay? Now, if you were to reduce that to something like 17, guess what happens? It's extremely slow in order to snap into position. So there's definitely a point where you're gonna reach equilibrium, right? A point where the window doesn't open up too slowly, or too quickly. That would most likely be something around 70 or 80. A 75 seems to be a pretty good option for us to go with. 75, okay, freaking perfect. Let's stick with 75. And then you have dampening, which is going to be friction. So let's increase the friction, see what happens. We'll change it to something like 115. Yeah, lots of friction. You can basically imagine that the entire wallpaper, instead of being a bunch of clouds, which actually symbolizes a lack of friction, but let's just say in this case, this is water, which means that you're going to have the window opening up inside of a really thick fluid, which causes it to look like this. Very, very slow when it comes to opening and closing for that matter. Now let's try something like barely any friction, okay, something like 5. And yeah, it's pretty bouncy because it has no friction whatsoever. There's no heavy resin that the window is opening up inside of, so it actually opens up pretty quickly and is bouncy as well. Let's try something. There's a sweet spot for this one as well. Let's go with something like 15. Okay, perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Awesome. If you wanted to slow the animation down a bit more, you can just change the speed over here. Now the speed is controlled through a little something known as deciseconds, okay? DS stands for deciseconds, and 1 decisecond is 100 milliseconds. So if you wanted to change it to 500, you just change it to 5.1, make the animation a bit slower, and oh my god, that is freaking perfect. Yep, that is honestly perfect. Or you might even go for something like 4.5, 4.54, 0.5 here as well. No idea why they use such freaking weird ass decimals when they could just use something much simpler, but okay. There you go. Works pretty fantastically. Awesome. Now, next thing, let's just change it for our layer, and then we'll just call it done. Once we're finished with that, I'm going to change this to spring and string. I want to change this to easy, 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 and then easy as well. Okay, that's what it looks like. And yeah, whoops. Well, that's fine. And let's see, style is fade. Now you want to actually turn it off dim around because, yeah, it's just much better with it off. And where exactly is dim around? Because it doesn't seem to be here. Config, hyper, let's check out where else it could be. Auto start, layout, is that here? No. It seems like it would be something that's inside of... Ah, yes, I'm pretty sure it's in window rules. Dim around. Yep, you want to turn that to false. False. Okay, now. Okay, yep, 10 times better. That's exactly what it's supposed to be like. Ah, as for the border, you actually want that to be quick and linear. So where's that? The border, yep, you want that to be something like almost linear. Almost linear. Let's see if that makes it better. Basically, don't want it to be extremely slow, and yep, it's extremely slow. Okay, let's see whether... Okay, quick. See if that's any better. Quick. Does that help? Open up 2 windows. Yup, quick is actually quick. And feels pretty quick too. Now we just have to increase the speed of the animation. Okay. Yes, that's exactly how it's supposed to work. Make it a bit more responsive. See... Ah, we changed the wrong thing. Well, ain't that fun. Cute. Much faster. Let's try 3.39. Yes, that's exactly how it's supposed to feel. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know when it comes to animations. There's more stuff, like you have the animation tree. I have covered this in a different video. There's going to be just 2 or 3 more settings that are, different compared to the last video that I've made. But I'm pretty sure these are intuitive enough for you to figure out on your own. And that's pretty much it. That is how you can use a Bezier curve, how you can use a spring curve, in order to customize your animations on Hyprland. If you want more cool stuff like this, if you enjoy the way that I teach, and you want to learn more about the entirety of the Hyprland wiki and secret tips and tricks that I have learned over my 4 years of writing Hyprland, if you want to basically download my brain and the way that I think, not just copy and paste dot files, the way that I actually think and make rices that I do, how exactly I make rices that look so freaking good every single time, basically just, riffing it, going off on my own without exactly anything in mind, then go ahead, click the first link in the description and check out the program. It's called Hyper Accelerator, and it teaches you exactly how to think to make rices as fantastic as the ones that I do, okay? I actually super believe that it's important for you to learn the way that I actually think and get stuff done instead of just copying and pasting stuff. That doesn't mean that I don't help you out with my dot files or with any, copy pastable stuff that you're going to have to use. I give you that as well. But the main thing that you learn from that program, the main transformation that you make, is you being able to think for yourself, which is especially important in the age where every other rice is made by AI. Yours is simply going to stand out because it's not using the same fucking colors that every single rice is on r/unix point. If you want, you can go ahead, click the first link right now and check out the program. Finally, take your rice to the next level. If you liked the video, hit like. If you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay ricing.